Du solltest angekündigt werden. Aber du solltest angekündigt werden.
Okay. Okay. Now I'll try to introduce myself. My name is Abrahamyan, and I am head of risk architecture and engineering and advisor to the board of Erste Group, a banking company based in Vienna, Austria, and operating in Eastern Europe. I'm here to talk to you and to share some practical tips or practical experiences that I've collected during my career. And especially sort of ask the questions that I keep asking myself during the professional work or professional activity. I don't think that we will be able to give all the answers to all the questions we will put out there, but I think these are ones that you probably should ask yourselves as well. And to start the discussion about the 50 or 5 cents in this point that I think that you should make use of, I'll put the first question out there. So what do you think it is? It's a question. What do you think it is? Exactly. It's a hotel. It's a hotel, a very nice hotel. I was in this hotel yesterday evening. And this hotel is on one of the small islands in Croatian coast. And I took off about 6-7 o'clock in the evening, yesterday evening, took a ferry, then a car, and then a ferry again, and then a plane to get here. For one reason, because I think the education and exchange of experience between the people that have done something, not everything, and people that are in the beginning of their career is very important. And I'm here to give my 5 cents. So let's get started. So first thing I think that we should be doing, and this is also something that we're doing all the time. I mean, this is an inherent feature of us Armenians, is working hard. We're working really hard. But this is not a question. The question or the aspect that I want to put out there is, when we work hard, are we really doing the right things? Are we really acting in the interest of the company? Are we really doing the right job that is important for this company, etc., etc.? If you are in the early stages of your career and you have to decide where to go, in which part of the organization, or go to the part that is adding to the top line of the company. If you are working in accounting of BMW, this is not a great idea. If you are an engineer or a designer and you're working in BMW, this is probably something that is making much more sense. If you are an accountant or a financial specialist, you probably should be operating in a banking industry. And these days, this whole picture has transformed to a greater extent, because a lot of companies are struggling to earn money. Some of them are also trying to survive by saving money. So if you are a great person or a great specialist in saving money, then you probably find a lot of interesting places to operate in across the business, across the industry. The second question that you always have to ask yourself is, think about the beneficiary of the work. Who do you work for? Do you work for your boss? Do you work for your company? Do you work for your family? Do you work for your society? There are a lot of people out there that operate for the help or for the sake of society, right? There are people that are spending weekends working, educating children, right? They're not paid for that. I have a neighbor that has 5 children. He's all the time playing with these children on the street, on our backyard, right? And I think he's been setting his professional priorities to have spare time to spend this time with children. So you have to get in your mind write the order of the or the order of priorities. Well, what I want to do, for whom I'm doing it, and what are the activities that I'm doing in order to get there. You have to be really very careful about asking the job, the role, the next promotion or whatever, because you can get it. There is a possibility that you will get it. Beware. So, the next thought, do your homework. I have to admit, I'm crap at doing homework. I hated always doing homework. I never did my homework right. And I remember I was sitting in examination in the university in a subject called electrical machines. And we had a horrible professor which was known to all universities. Some people here know them. And there was an urban myth out there where they were saying that 25% of the students would fail that exam, they wouldn't pass. And I was sitting there writing my text, I got the questions, I was writing my text. He came over and he was looking over my shoulder, looking at my note, and he was saying, Abrahamyan, electrical machines have been invented 50 years ago, 70 years ago, 80 years ago. You don't need to invent them during the examination. You better learn them. There is a book, and you can learn them. And another thing, and another point or another example, and that's stuck to me eventually. Another example I wanted to give you, it was more at the later stages of my career. I was doing the presentation, preparing the presentation with my manager at that time, who actually didn't have a clue about what the presentation was, but he was a pure manager, content-less manager, right? He kept asking me questions, and one of the standard set of the question is that if you put this slide out there, what would be 3 sentences that you will say about this slide? And then I was trying to invent or write down this, and there was coming, what would be 2? What would be 1? What would be 1 word you will tell about this stuff? And it was something that I was kept writing over the course of my career. How can I focus and prepare on the topic whenever I get to audience that has a 0 level of patience, which is a normal setup, right, in a commercial career. Those that are working in big corporations know if you end up sitting in front of the senior management, you will probably have 30 seconds to get your point across. Prepare. Next, be resilient and patient. So why I put this thought out there is it's not always like that a career is a linear thing. It's like a ladder. You keep moving, next level, next level, next level. There are some plateaus on every career, even the most successful career. Right? And those of you who are in the beginning of the career, I think, in my view, have to have patience and resilience to use those plateaus in order to collect the knowledge and energy. That will help them to do the next step, to jump to the next level. It can take a long time. It can take years, right? But it will come. Sharpen your tools, sharpen your skills, and the time will come, you will do the next jump. And one thing which when I was preparing the slide, I couldn't resist putting it there. There is an urban myth out there that HR is worried about the careers of people in the company. This is crap. Your career is your problem. No one, neither your boss nor HR, no one will worry about your career. You have to worry about your career yourself. Prepare, train, choose your trainings, collect experiences, build your networks, and do the next move. The next, have fun. This sounds a little bit funny, but it's not funny at all. If you're doing something you don't like, you will fail. And this is really serious. Because you can do something you hate for an hour, or 3 hours, or a month, or a week, whatever, right? If you know it's necessary, but you're gonna love what you do, right? And you have to choose the job that you like, so that you can sustain the difficult points in the career that will come, right? We were having a debate with my son about jogging, right? He was saying, I mean, how can you jog? And I was saying, I'm enjoying jogging. I was like, how can you enjoy jogging? It's so boring. You do it in your mind, right? You transform yourself. You say, okay, this is something that is important. I have to do it for my health, for my family, for whatever, right? And this is the point that you have to bear in your mind, right? Whenever you're choosing your career. And I think there is also an aspect of a luck and a change in your life. I mean, I've studied electrical engineering. I've done my PhD in environmental forecasting, and then ended up being IT manager in a bank, in a financial sector. So things change, right? Things change. As long as you're flexible, as long as you look at what is important for you and prepare yourself, you will succeed. Watch your health. Well, this is probably an aspect of an older man talking to younger people. But I have to say, do something, right? Run, swim, play football, tennis, whatever. Do something you enjoy doing, because you have to do it for quite some time, right? And hard work is very demanding, right? You will travel a lot, you will have short and sleepless nights, you will have lots of activities in your professional career that will demand your stamina, right? So being physically prepared to do this type of activity is very important. It's a success factor. It's defining success factor. I had plenty of colleagues that I was every time I was talking to them I was amazed. I had a colleague who was doing the Marathon of Sabres. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's 250 kilometers in Sahara, where you carry everything that you need. And he's extremely successful manager in a banking world in London. I had a colleague of mine who was also a woman who was also extremely successful. She was running permanently ultramarathons, one of them being on a frozen Baikals, right, with minus 40 degrees. So people train and do things in order to prepare themselves for the professional activity. The second part of watching your health is the mental health, right? I couldn't resist not putting Horowitz on that slide. So you, and this is very important. I think social activities, like your friends, your family, the time to switch off is as important as the time to train your body, right? Your mind needs to calm down and unwind to be prepared for the next day. Interesting people. I think this is a tricky one, right? We as Armenians, I think there's a bit of curiosity that is coming with us automatically. So we stick our nose everywhere we could, right? And we always try to get to know people. And this is something that I think shouldn't be sort of pulled back and protected. This is a feature that is actually very helpful. If you're interested in people or being interested in people, is actually a very valuable skill. Very valuable skill. It helped me a lot. And when you're building your networks, and by network I don't mean the people that you had a lunch once in your life, right? A network is something which is very robust and very stable. Network is something that can hold you if you fall. Is based on knowledge, on interpersonal relationship, right? The relationship between people. So you have to spend time, invest time in building your network so that this network can help you grow and can protect you things for time. One thing which is a minor comment, a side comment of what I'm saying, is people tend to spend more time with upper ranks of the organization. I think it's not clever. Lower ranks help you more. Your peers or employees of your peers are sometimes much more important than the boss of your boss or the peer of your boss or whatever. So this is a very scientific drawing here, which I did to get across a point. Some of you that studied marketing know a term USP, right? Unique selling point. So you have to define a unique selling point for yourself, because at the end of the day, your skill is a product. You have to sell this product on the market of workforce, right? You have to get your USP right. You have to understand what is it that I can do best, and instead of actually trying to train on things that you are not well at doing, you actually have to focus on your strength. Because if a group of people or a team of people, if you look at the aggregate skill or aggregate level or the capability of a team, you will look at the peaks of the best skills of the people, not at the weaknesses of them. And I had a picture which I wanted to put in here. There was a phrase, I don't remember where I got it from, but that the good managers are playing chess, the bad ones are playing checkers. And I liked it very much. And for just to spend a second on explaining it, checkers are a game where every figure on the board has the same strength, whereas the chess is a combination of multiple types of strengths and weaknesses. And if you are as an individual, right, you come with your strengths and weaknesses, right, and you have to be able to deploy your strengths in a way where your weaknesses are covered with your friends, with your partners, with your colleagues, and whoever, which I think is a very, very valuable proposition. And when you end up in a managerial positions, don't try to clone yourself. Build your teams in a way that the strengths of the people are deployed in the best possible way, and the weaknesses are covered. This is a tricky one. All right, office politics. You will be dragged into office politics. If you grow through the organization, it's inevitable. But I think to try to keep away from it as much as possible is a meaningful advice for early and mid stage of your career, right? The best politics is the one that no one actually realizes is politics, right? But you have to be really, really, really good at that. And that takes time. I'm not assuming that you are bad at it, but I think you will need some time to get there. So try not to get involved in the politics for the beginning, and then you will become so fine in it that it will work well. Another thought, loyalty triangle. And this is something that you will confront at every stage of your career. You will be working, or you will have priorities that are being put to yourself, by your boss, and by the company. And they are normally, usually, it's a nice and ideal situation where they all pull in one direction, but it doesn't happen like that, unfortunately. They're pulling you and tearing you apart. They're pulling you in totally different directions. And you have to be very aware of that fact, right? You have to, I'm not saying that, you know what, the right thing is this and then that and then that. No, it is a difficult and complicated question that you have to ask to yourself. One thing that I always tell myself, there's no chance I'll step over myself. Because at the end of the day, you go home and there is in the morning, when you brush your teeth or you shave, you have a mirror, and there is someone that you will see in that mirror. You have to like that guy or girl. Otherwise, you're in trouble. So, this is something, this sticker, this is a postcard. And this postcard, I haven't, in contrast to all the other pictures, I've not stolen them and not drawn myself. This is a postcard that is on the wall of my office. It's a real postcard that is on the wall of my office. You have to be really brave when you get across your thoughts, right, and your arguments. And don't be shied by people around you. There will be plenty of people that will be telling rubbish with a serious face, with a very confident face, and they will often overrun you. Trust your brain, trust your intellect, trust your experience, and you will be much more successful than pulling back yourself whenever discussion gets hot, right? Have the gravity to use your own brain, right, as it says. And the last, I've just put out there, just to finish my part, my presentation, I put a couple of books that are supporting the points or the ideas that I was putting out there. And I thought that are relevant in the aspect of what I have been discussing with you. So thank you very much. That concludes my presentation. Questions? Welcome.